Before that, on BBC One, Vivian White presents Panorama. His report contains some scenes which you may find disturbing.
A royal visit and a special day. But in this ordinary British town, a bloody battle is being fought out on the streets, a war over a sleeping pill. Tonight on Panorama, the secret realm where drugs rule. It's just after 10:30. It's an ordinary night in the Royal Alexandra Hospital in Paisley. A woman is brought into the resuscitation room. She's had a drugs overdose.
Various tablets, unknown amount. Could have taken them any time from 4:30.
A legally prescribed sleeping pill has become the common currency of abuse and addiction. It's called Temazepam.
I don't know anything else about her. They say the police have to break down the door.
Can I sign up a sample for a full blood count, please, who's had an overdose of Temazepam, please? Thanks so much. Bye.
What have you been up to? I've got lots of empty pill packets there. Are you taking some tablets? Are you taking some tablets today? Can you remember what you've taken? Sorry, can you speak up?
Treating the consequences of Temazepam abuse is now routine here.
No, have you done this before? Have you got a wee boy, did you say?
Legally prescribed, Temazepam is usually taken in very small doses. But its other users often take it in large amounts and mix it with alcohol or other drugs. They risk comas and seizures. And Temazepam's addictive. Its street use is widespread.
I've seen school people coming in as young as 13 and 14 coming in in fact there's a girl came in the other day who was only 13 years old who'd taken 3 or 4 Temazepam. It's certainly not uncommon in the younger population. In fact, it's probably the drug of choice.
Temazepam has a hypnotic effect. That's what those who take it for fun are trying to exploit. But around Paisley, living high and half asleep on prescription drugs isn't thought of as bad, like taking heroin or cocaine. Temazepam users aren't labelled as junkies.
Temazepam, or jellies, used to be looked upon as being a drug. No, a nasty kind of drug. But it's so openly used and so readily available every day of the week and used by so many people, it's become socially acceptable. It's a bit like going for a pint. I'm away to get 3 jellies is just as good to say as I'm going to the pub for a pint. In fact, most of the pubs are empty of young people now because they're all lying about in parks, very similar to this one, full of jellies.
Feels like a saliva.
And this drug's misuse has violent consequences too. Especially taken with alcohol, the drug itself can make users feel aggressive and invulnerable.
One of the big salivary ducts that sits at the side of your face there drains into the mouth via a little tube. I'm very sore if I do that.
And in its train, there have been a spate of unusually violent injuries.
The new type of injury seems to be perhaps a little more evil, a little more wicked. The significant ones that we've seen have been stab wounds, for example, through the neck, going in one side, out the other side, right through the vocal cord area. And that certainly caused me a few headaches one Saturday night. We've had other patients stabbed through the eye into the base of the brain. We've had a number of heart stabbings which have required us to call in the emergency cardiac team from the major teaching hospitals in the city. And we've had other stabbings, obviously, into the chest, and shootings which have required a make-it-up-as-you-go-along type of approach to surgery.
Paisley is part of a network of towns just to the west of Glasgow. It's famous for the textile pattern, which it imported from India and then made its own. Now it shows a new pattern, the problem of prescription drug abuse.
In this nice ordinary town, there are two worlds. The public world, where people cheer a royal visit, and the drugs world, the world of Temazepam. This parallel universe with its own violent logic exists in towns up and down the country. But in Paisley, it ceased to be invisible. The secret workings of the criminal drugs economy have spilled into public view.
The speed with which Temazepam took hold in the community surprised those in authority in the conventional world.
Here was this ordinary drug that was prescribed to people, and suddenly it was on the streets being sold at astronomical prices and was being used in conjunction with other drugs, not for medical purposes, but for other purposes by drug addicts and not necessarily people who were addicted, but people who were indulging in drug taking.
He told me to come down here, man. You know what I mean?
Filmed secretly the open secret of the Temazepam world. Its most basic deal, a visit to the local retail outlet.
How much are beans?
Supplying this drug's illegal. That's why the contact's made on the street, but then they go inside. Possessing this drug isn't an offence.
What are you selling them for? £1? Do you want to give us 15? Cheers, mate.
And the money's handed over. Temazepam pills come in two forms, capsules and tablets. On the streets they're known as jellies or beans, as if they were sweets. The dealer goes to get some from a sack in the other room. This deal, an illegal sale of a legal drug, is the foundation of the secret Temazepam economy.
Right, mate. Thanks a lot. I'll see you again, right?
Purchased for £20, a handful of Temazepam. Its retail price here is around £1.50 a pill. In some places, it goes as high as £3. We spoke to the person who'd bought the drug.
I asked the man if there would be any problem getting them at any other time. He says, no problem at all. I could have as many as I wanted at any time, as long as I had the money.
Can you usually get Temazepam in the first place you look, or what happens?
Well, if it's no where the first place I look, usually they tell me no. Somewhere else to go, a certain street, a certain house to go to, and if they're no there, they'll tell me somewhere else. It's just like a chain system, you know. They're in every street if you go to the right door and know the right people.